Have you ever wondered what is mental abuse? Watch video till end to know the answer. When people think of abuse, they often picture physical violence, visible scars, bruises, and wounds that leave undeniable proof of harm. However, not all abuse is physical. Some of the deepest wounds are invisible, inflicted through words, silence, manipulation, and neglect. Mental abuse, often referred to as emotional or psychological abuse, is just as damaging as physical abuse, if not more so, because it targets a person's mind, self-worth, and perception of reality. Mental abuse is not just calling someone names or shouting insults, it is far more insidious. It manifests in subtle ways, creeping into a person's thoughts and emotions, making them question their worth, their perceptions, and even their own reality. It is the silent wounds of being ignored, dismissed, or constantly made to feel unimportant. It is being manipulated into believing that your feelings don't matter, that your thoughts are wrong, and that you are somehow to blame for the mistreatment you endure. Forms of mental abuse. Mental abuse can take many forms, and because it is often subtle, it can go unnoticed for a long time. The damage, however, is profound. Some of the most common forms of mental abuse include 1. The silent treatment. One of the most painful forms of mental abuse is being deliberately ignored. The silent treatment is a form of emotional punishment where a person refuses to acknowledge the existence of another. They withhold communication, affection, or attention as a way to control or punish. Over time, this can make the victim feel unworthy, invisible, and desperate for validation. 2. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is a psychological manipulation tactic used to make a person doubt their reality, memory, or perception. An abuser will deny things they said or did, twist the truth, and make the victim feel like they are overreacting or crazy. The victim begins to question their own thoughts, leading to confusion, anxiety, and self-doubt. 3. Constant criticism and belittling. A person experiencing mental abuse is often subjected to relentless criticism. Nothing they do is ever good enough. Whether it's their appearance, intelligence, or choices, the abuser always finds a way to make them feel inadequate. This constant belittling chips away at their self-esteem, leaving them feeling worthless. 4. Emotional neglect. Neglect is a form of abuse that can be just as damaging as outright cruelty. When someone continuously disregards your emotions, refuses to acknowledge your pain, or fails to provide support, it sends the message that your feelings don't matter. Emotional neglect can make a person feel deeply unimportant and unlovable. 5. Controlling behavior. Mental abuse often involves excessive control. The abuser may dictate what the victim can wear, who they can talk to, or how they should behave. They may use guilt, fear, or shame to manipulate the victim into compliance. Over time, this strips the person of their independence and ability to make decisions for themselves. 6. Blame shifting and guilt tripping. A mentally abusive person rarely takes responsibility for their actions. Instead, they blame their victim for everything: problems in the relationship, their own outbursts, or even the victim's pain. They use guilt to control and manipulate, making the victim feel responsible for their mistreatment. 7. Threats and intimidation. Even when an abuser does not resort to physical violence, they may use intimidation to instill fear. This can include threats of abandonment, financial control, or harming themselves if the victim refuses to comply. The constant fear of consequences keeps the victim trapped in the toxic dynamic. The psychological impact of mental abuse. Mental abuse does not leave physical bruises, but its effects can be long-lasting and deeply damaging. Victims often struggle with 1. Low self-esteem and self-doubt. Being constantly criticized, dismissed, or invalidated makes a person feel unworthy. Over time, they may internalize these messages, believing they are fundamentally flawed or undeserving of love and respect. 2. Anxiety and depression. Living in a mentally abusive environment can lead to chronic stress, anxiety, and depression. Victims often feel trapped, hopeless, and emotionally exhausted. The constant emotional turmoil takes a toll on their mental health. 3. Difficulty trusting others. Mental abuse often involves betrayal, manipulation, and broken trust. As a result, victims may find it difficult to trust people in future relationships, fearing that they will be hurt again. 4. Emotional numbness. To cope with ongoing abuse, some people shut down emotionally. They stop expressing their feelings, withdraw from relationships, and become emotionally detached as a form of self-protection. 5. Fear of speaking up. Victims of mental abuse often walk on eggshells, afraid that anything they say or do will lead to more punishment. This fear can persist even after they leave the abusive situation, making it difficult to assert themselves or express their needs. Why mental abuse is just as damaging as physical abuse. Many people underestimate the impact of mental abuse because it does not leave visible marks. However, research has shown that emotional and psychological abuse can have long-lasting effects on brain function, self-perception, and overall well-being. In some cases, it can be even more damaging than physical abuse because it erodes self-worth. A person who has been physically hurt can recognize that they were harmed, but someone who has been mentally abused may start to believe they deserved it or that they are inherently unworthy of kindness and respect. It can last a lifetime. While physical wounds heal, emotional scars from mental abuse can persist for years or even a lifetime. It affects every aspect of life, from relationships to career choices. A person who has endured mental abuse may struggle with self-confidence, decision-making, and emotional regulation. Breaking free from mental abuse. Escaping mental abuse is challenging because the victim often feels trapped, manipulated, or dependent on the abuser. However, healing and freedom are possible. Here's how. 1. Recognize the abuse. The first step is acknowledging that what you are experiencing is abuse. Mental abuse is not normal in a healthy relationship, and no one deserves to be treated this way. 2. Set boundaries if possible. Establish firm boundaries with the abuser. This may mean limiting contact, refusing to engage in toxic conversations, or distancing yourself from their manipulation. 3. Seek support. Reach out to trusted friends, family members, or a professional therapist. Speaking to someone who understands can help validate your experiences and guide you toward healing. 4. Rebuild self-worth. Mental abuse destroys self-esteem, but it can be rebuilt. Engage in activities that make you feel good about yourself, practice self-care, and challenge negative self-talk. 5. Consider professional help. Therapy can be an invaluable tool for healing from mental abuse. A trained therapist can help you process your experiences, rebuild confidence, and develop healthy relationship patterns. 6. Leave if necessary. If you are in an ongoing mentally abusive relationship, consider leaving. It may be difficult, especially if there are financial or emotional ties, but prioritizing your mental health and well-being is essential. You deserve respect and kindness. Mental abuse is real, and its effects are profound. Just because the wounds aren't visible doesn't mean they don't exist. No one deserves to feel unimportant, unheard, or unloved. Everyone has the right to be treated with respect, kindness, and dignity. If you have experienced mental abuse, know that you are not alone, and healing is possible. You deserve to be in relationships, whether romantic, familial, or friendships that uplift and support you. Recognizing abuse is the first step to breaking free, and seeking help can lead you toward a happier, healthier future. You are worthy, you are enough, and you deserve to be treated with love and respect. Have you ever experienced mental abuse in any relationship? Share your thoughts about mental abuse in comments. Hit the like button and share this video with friends and family members. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and watch other inspirational videos on our channel.